Top stories tonight. A monarch wanted over Okwama killings in Delta State flown to Abuja. Nigeria's Senate set to review Ningi's suspension over budget padding allegations. Citizens lament sustained high cost of living in Nigeria as Easter approaches. Madagascar's Constitutional Court sacks Parliament Speaker. Thank you for joining us. I am Felicity Ezewike. Let's begin by telling you that the traditional ruler of Urobo Kingdom, Ughelli South Local Government Area of Delta State, Southern Nigeria, Clement Ikolo, who voluntarily surrendered himself Thursday evening, has been flown to Abuja. He is one of the 8 persons declared wanted by the Defense Headquarters following the killing of 17 soldiers in an ambush in Ukwama community within the kingdom. He was escorted to the Asaba airport by both the commanding officer, 63 Brigade, Nigeria's Army Asaba, the Delta State Police Commissioner, and other senior military officers. Since his arrival in Abuja, information about his engagement with the military investigators has been scarce. The monarch had on Thursday pleaded his innocence in a filmed interview before turning himself in to the police. In the meantime, the storm triggered by the killing of the 17 soldiers may not be settling soon. Residents of the neighboring communities to Ukwama have lost touch with peace owing to a heavy presence of military personnel around them. News Central's correspondent Austin Azu, who visited the area, brings us details.
Oto Ewu is the traditional headquarters of Ewu Kingdom in Ughelli South Local Government Area of Delta State. Okwama community, where 17 soldiers were ambushed and killed, is under this kingdom. The Nigerian Army authorities have shown readiness and determination to get those behind the killing of the soldiers. This is convincingly responsible for continuous invasion of neighboring communities and beyond in search of the suspects.
The next thing I saw many of them, they were just parading the whole places. They started breaking doors.
What has become evident is that some mistakes may have been made in identifying targets, and those who bear the brunt of this cannot hide their frustration.
If the soldiers they pass, they printing, they make us they fear, they make us they run.
So whether they fight the fight like that, so we know they okay. So people be running up and down, running here, running here. So they're not comfortable. And along the line, when the soldier come, go to Aramare and Orere, people have more fear. Say, the people are becoming, they want to fight us. What is happening? So many people hide, hang around. So nobody gets joy from now. So I bet we need peace. That is what we are crying for the kingdom here.
The fight that people are fighting all over there, people are suffering. They are suffering, mostly the children and the wives. Food, no food to eat, nothing to help them. So we want governor to go and help them.
But this Niger Delta youth leader wished the soldiers would be more accurate in hunting down their targets in order to reduce the collateral damage arising from the operation.
They have to work with citizens closely to liaise with the grassroots, to get information, to get intake, so that those bad heads will be fished out. And I would strongly advise the military to investigate properly before going for operation or invasion.
The monarch of Ewu Kingdom, who was one of the 8 persons declared wanted by the Defense Headquarters, pleaded his innocence and handed himself over to security agencies. Coming days remain crucial as the search of the suspects continue, and the army strives to solve the puzzle of whom were responsible for the death of the soldiers. Perhaps that's when the people bearing the brunt of acts they knew nothing about will find peace. In Ewu Kingdom, Delta State, I'm Austin Azu.
To discuss the fallout of the killing of the 17 soldiers, I'm joined now by Executive Assistant on Orientation and Communications to Delta State Governor, Fred Ogenesive. Thank you very much, Fred, for giving us your time. Let's start with that report by my colleague, the unease that has spread from Okwama Kingdom to other surrounding communities. What is the government's reaction to the unease that's been expressed, and what is being done to allay concerns?
Well, His Excellency the Governor is on top of the issue. You recall that he paid a visit to Mr. President at the Aso Rock, and it discussed extensively on how this issue could be resolved in the shortest possible time. Well, as far as Delta is concerned, we condemn the killings because that is not the nature of the people of Delta State. We are peaceful, and we are people that respect law and order and obey law and order. As you can see from what His Royal Majesty have just done, his name was among those who were declared wanted, and he turned in himself, without pressure. And I think he's the first now that has, come out to present himself for a necessary investigation. And that is what we stand for in Delta State. The killing is barbaric. We condemn it entirely. His Excellency, the Governor, has done so. Many Nigerians are not happy about it. Mr. President also condemned the killings. But one thing that the government is trying to do, by way of, now relating with the top military hierarchy, is that innocent citizens should not be unduly harassed or maltreated for the sins that they did not commit. Our own part of it in Delta is that, look, let those who are behind this atrocity be tracked and arrested and prosecuted. Let the law take its course to the fullest. But innocent citizens should not be unnecessarily intimidated.
All right, you talked about the monarch. Yesterday, News Central was among the first to break the news of his self-declaration that he is innocent and has nothing to do with what has transpired. But he said something instructive that I'd like to get your perspective on. He said he has never been in hiding. He is wondering why he was declared wanted. What has been, was there any effort by the military or the army to specifically ask the government of Delta State for the whereabouts of these persons before declaring them wanted? Or what is the government's response to this?
Oh, well, as you know, the military is a different entity altogether. They have their own ways of doing things. They have their strategies. And as civilians, we try as much as possible to ensure that we do not unnecessarily interfere with their professional operations. That being said, the governor is always in touch with the military hierarchy, from the Chief of Defense Staff to the Chief of Army Staff and to the commanders around Delta. You can see that when His Royal Majesty turned in himself, the State Commissioner of Police, the officer commanding the army in Asaba, they all escorted him to the airport, to join a flight to Abuja, where he's expected to now be interrogated by the military high command. But let me say this too.
Okay, the question I asked, in the interest of time, the question I asked specifically was the declaration of the monarch as wanted by the army, when he clearly said he was never in hiding. Nobody reached out to him to say you were wanted for questioning in connection with the incident, the Saudi incident. So that's specifically what I'm asking you for, sir.
Okay, fine, good. I think that is an issue that really that's a puzzle to many Nigerians, because traditional rulers are not hidden people. There are people who regularly interact with government. And so, like you rightly said in your question, or the remark you made, the military would have just, contacted His Excellency the Governor to say that, look, we want traditional rulers in your state is wanted. We want you to help us get him. And I'm sure the governor would have done the needful by doing that. But we have gone beyond that now. What is important now is that the royal father himself, Clement Ikolo, He's a responsible Deltan and is a responsible citizen.
What about the other names on the list? Any information as to the whereabouts?
Well, the other names for now, I can't make any comment on that for now. But the one that is very, very important is the traditional ruler, who is also a popular figure and somebody that we know in Delta. We are happy here that he turned it himself.
All right. Thank you very much, Alfred, for speaking with us. Now, away from that story, Christians all over the world today marked Good Friday. It is a day the crucifixion of Jesus Christ is commemorated in line with the Christian faith. My colleague, Chinwe Ugele, monitored how the day went in Umuahia, capital of Abia State, and filed in this report.
Apart from the Lenten season, which Christians commit to, the Good Friday is also another day of observance and obligation. Some churches adopt different measures like consumption of meat abstinence, going to church for various activities to show the significance of the day.
That Good Friday and Easter, the Christian story would not be complete and balanced.
The suffering of Christ was not forced on him. Rather, he gave himself. And because he gave himself for it, he cooperated with everyone he encounters in the process, knowing that he was doing the will of his Father.
In the Catholic faith, the Stations of the Cross herald the liturgy of the Mass, wherein the Passion of Christ is chanted. On Good Friday, every crucifix in the church that had been covered in purple gets stripped before the veneration of the cross by the congregants. In the Anglican Church, Christian faithful join in a procession enacting the sufferings of Christ.
And that statement of Jesus on the cross, that it is finished, that is when the full price of the salvation of mankind was paid. So today is a bedrock. What we celebrate today is part of the bedrock of Christianity.
Without today, this Good Friday, I mean, there's something like Christianity, because he died, and we know by the following day, tomorrow, by Easter, he will rise, and we'll celebrate that.
He died that we might be redeemed, me and you might be redeemed. He shed his blood on the cross of Calvary.
But if you look at it literally, you will say, why good that Jesus was crucified on that particular day? But it is good because that is the root of our redemption. That death on the cross was why he came, and he fulfilled that purpose of his coming.
The Good Friday may sound strange to non-Christians since it's a day that Christ died. However, for Christians and all those who understand it, Good Friday is the reason there is salvation. In Umuahia for News Central, Chinwe Ugele.
The effect of the harsh economic realities on people in Nigeria seems to linger, even as the country's currency is recovering in the foreign exchange market. News Central's Chizoba Anyowe was at Terminus main market in Jos Plateau State, where she felt the pulse of the people on the cost of living hours to the Easter celebration.
It is less than 48 hours to the celebration of Easter, which marks the resurrection of Jesus Christ in line with the Christian faith. Since the removal of subsidy on petrol by Nigeria's federal government in May last year, life has become some sort of a struggle for many people. The high cost of goods, particularly food items, is no longer news, as citizens on the plateau bear their hearts comparing the situation with what it used to be months ago.
I see this basket now, 10.5. I buy them today. How much I go sell them? Shombo, the bag now, almost 20-something thousand. Pepper, almost 40,000. One bag, almost 40,000. With the sale, no, they come out.
You know, since I was born, I've not seen, this kind of situation. The price is out of control, and the government is not doing anything about it.
this government made them help us for this our Nigeria. Like today be Good Friday. I go see different type of fuel. I no see fuel buy. Now people want grant, no fuel to grant.
The common man cannot even eat meat. What we usually use, we usually use 1,800 naira to buy per kg, but now today it's about 5,000 naira per kg.
Try to buy fresh fruits or fresh vegetables in Jos, and it's still expensive, despite the fact that Plateau is a very, very good place to plant all these things.
For them, if governance is about the people and for the people, then government at all levels need to rise up to their responsibility in soothing their plight.
I think the government can step in because there's something we call the price control unit. They said they are not actually active. I think they should step in and work in order to try to bring this thing down because Naira has added value.
So we are crying for our governor. Here we are sitting for outside sun and everything. We are looking for money and we not see the money.
The federal government to intervene on this issue, to come and see what is happening today in Nigeria, or people are passing through this increasing of things.
They should come out, with a decisive, measure concerning this, so that humanity can have a sigh of relief.
It is 2 days away from Easter, and what people are saying is that everything in the market has just been increasing in prices every other day. What they are asking for is that government should step in to ensure that there's a regulatory agency that will control these prices for the betterment of the masses. In Jos for News Central, Chizoba Anyowi.
Many thanks, Chizoba. We're on a short break now. When we come back, we have more stories, birthday celebrations. Stay with us. The Senate is set to recall Senator Abdul Ningi from his 3-month suspension. Senate President Godswill Akpabio disclosed this while answering questions from reporters on arrival from the Inter-Parliamentary Union meeting in Geneva, Switzerland. Akpabio said the Senate will soon review the 3-month suspension it slammed on Ningi for claiming that the 2024 budget was allegedly padded with a sum of 3.7 trillion naira. Ningi had on Thursday, in a letter written by his counsel, Femi Falana, gave Akpabio 7 days to recall him or face legal action. Akpabio told reporters that even though he has not seen the said letter, it is already receiving due attention. To discuss this, and joined by public affairs analyst Kach Ononuju. Kach, it's good to see you. Thanks for giving us your time. It's not yet.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
It's not yet 3 months. Issues raised have yet to be satisfactorily addressed, yet Ningi is set to be recalled. According to Akpabio, the Senate is a family. What is a suspension? He asked. So I'm going to ask you now. Let's start from there. What is the purpose of suspension?
Well, you will understand that the Senate, as Akpabio said, is a family. It's an internal affair of the Senate. And Senator Ningi knows going to court would not bring him any relief. So it's still something that could be resolved internally. And I think they've gone about it the best way. Talk to yourselves, because if you don't agree, you will keep going back to court and the Senate will keep telling you it's an internal affair. So they have done the right thing, gone through the internal family way to talk to Senator Akpabio and his colleagues. And yes, they will be bringing back Ningi, and that's what it is. It's happened before, and it can always be resolved in the same old way.
You say Ningi could reconsider, but he's actually used his counsel, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, to write a letter asking to be recalled within 7 days. There are those who are saying that it could be that the Senate President is just dancing to that tune. His response is primarily an offshoot to that letter. Otherwise, probably actions would not be taken. What's your reaction to that?
Oh, no. What Falana is doing has no inference into what Akpabio is doing. If you take Falana's part, it will take very long. We've been here before. It's always talk to the Senate president politely, and they will go behind themselves and bring their members back. If you allow it to go to court, it will take all the times, and they will tell you it's an internal affairs of the Senate and that they have their own ways. And that doesn't really pay anybody. So I think this is the right way to do it. Appeal, talk to the president. By the time the senator comes back, he understands this is the way the members would like him to follow. He's also had the president's position on this. Whether he's correct or he's wrong, he understands he needs to be with the Senate. I think that's been done. He's coming back, and I think that should be taken for the way it is.
As much as you say it's an internal affair, it's a family affair, the allegations affect the entire country. The allegations were strong enough to warrant a suspension, and it was made public to the Nigerian people. Are you satisfied with the response that has been given by the Senate so far? Has the matter, in your view, been satisfactorily addressed? The allegation, I mean.
No, it's not been satisfactorily addressed. But then you'll ask yourself, what happened with the previous presidencies? This happened through the Buhari years, and we never did anything. No matter how we complained, we didn't get anything out of it. If you look at what Ahmed Lawal did, you will know that Senator Akpabio is like a saint. So I think it's a Senate way. So you just follow precedents and find ways to deal with it. Have we had this before? Yes. Have we dealt with it before? Yes. How did you do that? You follow the same strategy, and then you're probably going to get the same results. And that's what we followed right now. So let's politely nudge Akpabio and his colleagues towards a peaceful resolution like we've had before. I think that's the best way for the country.
Katz, thank you very much for speaking with us.
Thank you for having me.
Let's tell you that the district heads from the Borno Emirate Council have highlighted the need for government support programs to ensure the gains of recent peace efforts will be sustained. The traditional leaders voiced their concerns during a one-day workshop organized by the Alamin Foundation for Peace and Development in Maiduguri. News Center's Umaru Kirawa completes the report.
The traditional leaders are gathered at a workshop to discuss the implementation of the charters of demands from survivors, victims, and de-radicalized women and girls. They pledge to work closely with the government and other stakeholders to ensure these initiatives are implemented effectively. One of the key areas of focus during the workshop was the urgent need for government empowerment initiatives.
As far as this reintegration issue is concerned, as traditional rulers, we are calling on the government to develop a kind of policy framework where the traditional rulers will be more enlightened on the reintegration process.
There is so much need for state government to create a specific role for traditional institutions as an entity of themselves, first. Then second, as we have talked before, there is so much need for government to intensify effort toward providing a sustainable means of livelihood for those victims.
And this I sort of had a nindiri in the Jaman de Mbe. Ala is there or other Kozana, Jaman de Rodian, a foot to learn in the Rodian. Naptu Kamalama, Misal, Futu, Repentant La Isaiah Society in Futu Sea Moso. Futu Daya, Wala Sea, Sandana Lasso, Sea Dawaman, engaging Diosa, Walaso Sama, Dura, Okada, Gulzana.
The traditional leaders emphasize that government's active involvement in implementing these programs is crucial.
There is a saying in Kanuri that says, the community leaders and then the ulama, that is scholar community, are the fillers of the wall for the in the Borno society. So therefore, if you get these people on your side, in fact, all things goes right.
Leadership of the Alamin Foundation commended the district heads for their commitment to ongoing peace efforts in Borno State.
Very soon, I'm sure a lot of good things will come out, and then so that people will start seeing the benefit of what the kind of issues being discussed, and then this vulnerable group of women and then children and others will now in fact see the specific demands being met by the various stakeholders.
Comprehensive initiatives to support survivors, victims, and de-radicalized women and girls are said to be important in the peace-building efforts if the attraction to return to banditry will be eliminated and the victims spared from the harrowing struggle for survival. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
The transmission company of Nigeria says it has successfully restored the national power grid following its collapse at 4:28 p.m. on Thursday. TCN, in a statement on Friday, said the grid attained full recovery by 10 p.m. on the same day. However, the Eco Electricity Distribution Company said on Friday that it was able to receive minimal power supply from the grid to put Agbara, Ojo, Akongba, Aja, Lekki, and Alagbon transmission stations on supply. On Thursday, major cities, including Lagos and Abuja, were thrown into darkness following the collapse of the national grid. Nigeria telecoms market is one of Africa's largest and fastest growing markets. While the sector has improved in leaps and bounds, there are still many areas to be improved upon, such as the area of broadband penetration. In this report, News Central's Bettina Uweli takes a look at how the sector has fared in Q1 of 2024.
On March 14, 2024, Nigeria woke up to restricted internet access. The disruption, which also affected several other countries, was said to have resulted from a cut on the submarine cable system offshore the coast of West Africa. The magnitude and cost implications of the service disruption threw up the need for Nigeria to seek and invest in alternative solutions to prevent a repeat incident.
We've become very virtual. We've been very internet reliant in all of our activities across board, and that has really affected lives. I do not think we should at this point give in to this conspiracy theory. And it affects life in no small measure. Banks, financial transactions, business transactions, e-commerce, and all the e-commerce activities across the West African sub-region.
Telecoms equipment is mostly imported into the country, and the recent downward spiral of the naira against the dollar has seen the cost of many infrastructural projects in the spike. This has impacted the rollout of 5G services, which requires massive investments in infrastructure to make the service go around the country and to provide quality service. But how much has the emergence of 5G network improved connectivity?
We have experiences where the people will go and put the fiber and hide by the bush. When the operators go for repair, they kidnap them, they hold them and rob them of their valuables. Things like that, there are, in the south in particular, there are places like in River State where they will call MTL, please, I am in your manhole so location. Come and meet me or I'm going to cut the fiber. And you have to go and settle them.
In the area of security, telecommunication has to a large extent been used by nefarious elements to perpetrate various crimes such as kidnappings, banditry, terrorism, and the National Identity Number, NIN, was supposed to help check this. According to the National Identification Management Commission, NIMC, the NIN would help sync all records about a person in the database and prevent both double identity and identity fraud. The question now is, why is insecurity still the order of the day, with millions of Nigerians already registered with their NIN?
Those umbrella people that have been engaged by the mobile network operators that you see outside, they do not do their SIM registration with due diligence. Some of them, the moment they say, sorry, what is your mother's maiden name? Because it's one of the questions. Or what local government do you come from? Which one? I don't know. I only know my state. I don't know the name. And then they will go on because they want the numbers. They will now go on to register them, despite that they did not give complete information.
There is no gainsaying that the telecom sector has impacted on the Nigerian economy in several positive ways. However, there is a consensus that more ground still need to be covered to attain the desired results. And with more investments in the telecom sector, this desired result will be achieved sooner than later. In Lagos, for News Central, Bettina Unwili.
Many thanks, Bettina. Former President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, has extended birthday greetings to President Bola Tinubu, who turns 72 on Friday, March 29. Buhari commended his successor for making sustained efforts to overcome the many problems of the country. He wished Tinubu good health and a long life so the country could benefit from his excellent leadership. Former Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo also congratulated Tinubu and wished him robust health, unyielding strength, divine help and wisdom always. On his part, former Governor of Delta State, James Ibori, expressed his gratitude for the president's unwavering leadership, dedication and service to the nation. He added that the president's commitment to upholding democratic values, fostering unity and driving progress has been an aspiration to Nigerians. Also, Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, in his message, describes the president as a courageous and passionate leader who is committed to the development of Nigeria. He noted that since assuming office, the president has demonstrated unparalleled patriotism, integrity, honesty, and courage in the task of steering the ship of Nigeria in the right direction. Developed maritime nations of the world attained success in shipping by protecting local operators. In Nigeria, statistics show that over 20,000 ships work for the oil and gas sector on Nigeria's waters, with an annual expenditure of over $600 million in the upstream sector. With this poor participation, the federal government of Nigeria came up with the cabotage law in the maritime industry and the local content policy in the oil and gas sector to tackle this challenge. Yet, implementation or political will has ensured the almost death of Nigeria's shipping sector.
Is very clear in terms of functions. And the Honorable Minister of Transportation is the main authority of the implementation of the Cabotage Act. So today there's a Federal Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. First thing that must be done, legislative amendments to the Cabotage Act to remove the function of the Minister of Transportation and give that function to the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy. That's number one. Number two is to revisit the reason why and strategies towards why Nigeria is not on the IMO whitelist. And number three, everything possible to get Nigeria back on the IMO Council. To me, those are the first three objectives that must be achieved within a very short space.
Find out more about the impact of Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board in the development of indigenous participation in Nigeria's oil and gas sector. Watch Maritime Radar on Saturday, 7 p.m. and a repeat on Sunday, 1 p.m. here on News Central. Still ahead tonight, Madagascar's Constitutional Court sacks Parliament Speaker. We'll tell you more after the break. Just stay with us. Glad to know you're still with us. Let's go now to East Africa. Madagascar's High Constitutional Court has announced that the Speaker of Parliament, a former supporter of President Andry Rajoelina, turned government critic, has been stripped of her post. The court's decision to remove Christine Razanamahorsoa from the National Assembly cited a flagrant violation of her party's line of conduct and her role as Speaker. Just before the first round of presidential elections last November, Razanamahorsoa, who had turned into a leading opposition figure, called for the polls to be suspended. She was the Justice Minister before being appointed Speaker of the Assembly for a few months in 2014, the first woman to hold the position. She was re-elected Speaker in 2019. Let's get the latest in business from our business desk.
Business news in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money.
Welcome to Business News.
Nigeria is developing new guidelines that will require companies seeking mining licenses to present plans for local mineral processing, according to a government spokesperson, Segun Tomori. This marks a departure from Nigeria's long-standing policy of exporting raw materials, as African governments aim to extract more value from their solid mineral deposits. To attract investment, Nigeria will offer incentives such as tax waivers for importing mining equipment, streamlined processes for securing electricity generation licenses, full repatriation of profits, and enhanced security measures. Tomori emphasized that companies will need to demonstrate their commitment to setting up processing plants and adding value to the Nigerian economy. The guidelines' finalization and implementation dates were not specified. The government's objective is to create jobs, support local communities, and maximize the benefits of mineral exploration. To Southern Africa now, South African Reserve Bank reports that the foreign direct investment inflows in South Africa decreased to 16.2 billion rands in the fourth quarter of 2023, down from 26 billion rands in the third quarter. For the entire year of 2023, direct investment inflows amounted to 96.5 billion rands, a decline from 151 billion rands in 2022. This decline was primarily driven by a slowdown in equity investment by foreign parent companies in domestic companies. In terms of portfolio investment, there were smaller outflows of 9 billion rands in the final quarter of 2023 compared to outflows of 41.9 billion rands in the previous quarter. Cumulative portfolio investment outflows for 2023 reached 87.5 billion rands, contrasting with inflows of 42.6 billion rands in 2022. And finally, the United States says it has been maintaining regular communication with Geka Mines, the Democratic Republic of Congo state miner, in an effort to strengthen relationships with key suppliers of cobalt and copper in Africa. This is according to a senior State Department official. The discussions with Geka Mines focus on supply agreements and potential mining projects occurring every 4 to 6 weeks. The Mineral Security Partnership, consisting of multiple countries and the European Union, recently announced a deal with Geka Mines and Japan's JOGMEC, resulting from these conversations. The objective is to avoid reliance on a single supplier and promote responsible investment practices that prioritize local workforce and environmental cleanup. The U.S. aims to diversify its supply chains and encourage higher mining standards in Africa, rather than counter China's influence. These are the business headlines at this hour. Thank you for watching. I am Perpetua Fasome Peter. The news continues shortly. Bye for now.
Business News in association with Money Master PSB, the easy way to master your money. Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile.
In sport, Algerian club USM Alger have landed in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State for their CAF Confederation Cup quarterfinal first leg clash against Rivers United. The defending champions touched down the Victor Atta International Airport on Friday afternoon, and they are now comfortably settled in their hotel. The showdown against Rivers United is scheduled for Sunday at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo, kicking off at 5 p.m. local time. The return match will take place at the Stade du 5 Juliet in Algiers on the 7th of April 2024. There had been controversy earlier in the week when the Algerians claimed that Rivers United had written to CAF seeking to have the match moved to 2 p.m., a move they opposed due to the ongoing Ramadan fast. Away from there now to basketball, where top Ghanaian sides, Custom Braves and Spintex Knight are set to battle reigning champions River Hoopers in the 2024 West African Basketball Championships holding at the Indoor Sports Hall of the National Stadium, Surulere, Lagos. According to the organizers of the event, the Louis Ede Foundation, the tournament will take place from March 31st to April 6, 2024. The tournament will feature 10 male teams, including 2022 winners Kwara Falcons, Lagos Raptors, Lagos Legends, Police Buttons, Ebon Comets, and Hoops and Raid. 6 women's teams will also compete, including MFM, First Bank, Nigerian Customs, Dolphins, Sunshine Angels, and Tap Queens. Founder and organizer Louis Adams said the tournament was set up for league players in order to prepare them for future events and also give back to the sport.
Having been a part of the basketball community, having played in the league and retiring and seeing that there's no league in Nigeria, you know, we have a lot of these guys that come from overseas and run basketball camps for young people, you know, but my concern is for the league players, you know, because these guys need to compete to earn. This is just supplementing. We know the NBBF are doing their best. So this is just supplementing, adding to what they're already doing, and just making sure that these guys are competing and getting the opportunity to earn.
The idea for us this time around is to get the teams, participating teams, to play as many games as they possibly can within the time frame that we have. We're still trying to, you know, brainstorm on how we can manage the time that we have on a daily basis from day one to the finish. If you recall, the previous editions, like the first one, Kwara Falcons were able to use our tournament as, you know, for preparation towards the BAL championship.
Interesting times ahead for basketball in the country. And now to athletics, where the season opening Diamond League event of 2024 season is set to take off in Xiamen, China. Athletes and fans are braced up for an electrifying start, with world record holder Tobiloba Amuson confirmed to compete in the star-studded women's 100-meter hurdles event. Nigeria's Amuson, who clinched gold at the recent African Games, joins the lineup of top-tier athletes set to grace the 100-meter hurdles competition. Among those slated to challenge Amuson are the likes of current world champion Danielle Williams of Jamaica, Johnny Vin Charlton, and Olympic champion Jasmine Camacho Quinn. The event will also feature prominent athletes such as Masai Russell of USA, Alasha Johnson, Sarina Samba Mayela, and Didachi Kumbubunji, and Yanni Wu and Megan Tapa of Jamaica. The high-profile showdown is scheduled to take place at the Egret Stadium on April 20th, 2024. And to wrap up sports update, we go straight to football on the foreign scene, where Bayern Munich manager Thomas Tuchel has confirmed striker Harry Kane has passed fitness test to face Borussia Dortmund in the Bundesliga on Saturday. The 30-year-old England captain suffered an ankle injury in a 5-2 win against Darmstadt prior to the international break. Kane reported for duty with England but sat out the 1-0 loss against Brazil before returning to Germany to recover, missing the 2-2 draw with Belgium. Kane joined Bayern from Tottenham in August for an initial €100 million and is the leading scorer in the German top flight with 31 goals in 26 games. England's all-time top scorer hit a hat-trick when Bayern won November's Der Klassiker 4-0 at Dortmund. And that wraps it up on Sports Update. And Favor Itwa. Up next is entertainment.
Sports Update, brought to you by Corn Oil. Corn Oil, we go the extra mile. Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Afrobeat sensation Oxlade's latest release has revealed more than just catchy tunes. In his music, he subtly unveils the challenges he's facing within the industry, hinting at blacklisting and blackmail. His freestyle on Glitch Africa exposes a deeper struggle, suggesting influential gatekeepers standing on his way to progress. These echoes sentiments of other artists like late Mohbad, highlighting music's power to convey truths beyond the surface. Let us listen to Mohbad himself. Let us listen to Oxlade.
I know many boys want to be like me. Many boys don't sound like me, and still many boys don't backbite me. Why me? Some of these gatekeepers don't boycott me. Some OGs don't blackball me, but I get Jesus.
Now, recent developments surrounding Daphne Joy, former partner of American rapper 50 Cent, have sparked controversy. Joy made allegations against 50 Cent, accusing him of rape and assault. These claims emerged following reports of 50 Cent's pursuit of sole custody of their son, prompted by Joy's involvement in a lawsuit against Saint Diddy Combs, implicating him in sex trafficking and abuse allegations. In an Instagram post, Joy criticized 50 Cent for his alleged neglect as a father to their son and accused him of rape and physical abuse during their relationship. However, 50 Cent swiftly refuted Joy's claims through a statement from his representative. He dismissed her allegations as reactive, attributing them to his recent decision to seek sole custody of their 12-year-old son. That's all on entertainment tonight. Next is trending after this short break.
Entertainment news in association with Glow Unlimited.
Moving away from entertainment news, Fisayo is trending on social media after the investigative journalist Fisayo Soyombo made a statement regarding a viral video featuring IBD Dende threatening a customs officer over seized smuggled goods. Social media is abuzz with rumors that the police have labeled Fisayo a wanted man. But first, let's take a look at the video trending that has IBD Dende from earlier. Social media responses suggest an ironic twist in the Nigerian police reaction, with many believing that IBD Dende should be the one answering to the police instead. Some reactions also call for an investigation into Fisayo's claims. Questions arise about the integrity of a system that allows citizens to express themselves freely without fear. Let us take some of those reactions on X. Emmy is saying, you mean our Nigerian police again? I hope they understand the nitty-gritty of investigative journalism and what it is all about. They're supposed to be shielding this guy instead. Real sad situation. What an irony. The world is keenly watching anyway. And then we have Ola saying the Nigerian police declaring Fisayo Soyombo wanted is laughable. How many Nigerians would they do that to? If I'm not wrong, Fisayo of FIG Nigeria's only offense was unmasking IBD Dende, other smugglers, and confirming the rot in the Nigerian customs systems. I hope you've not started with your oppression tactics. Police NG. And then we have our last tweet from Ziman saying, a journalist does his investigations, makes facts known about a government agency with proof, and he's declared wanted by the government. What does that tell you about the country? That's all for tonight on What's Trending. Please join the conversation and share your thoughts across our social media platforms at News Central TV. I am Jadel Simon.
Thank you, Jadel. Indeed, interesting time in Nigeria. That's all we have for you tonight. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. A monarch wanted over Okwama killings in Delta State has been flown to Abuja. Nigeria's Senate is set to review Ningi's suspension over budget padding allegations. Citizens have lamented sustained high cost of living in Nigeria as Easter approaches. We also brought you news that Madagascar's Constitutional Court has sacked Parliament Speaker. Would like to hear from you? Please send your eyewitness reports to the number showing now on your screen, or you can follow us on social media at News Central TV. We're live on DSTV channel 422, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV, and on YouTube. As always, thank you very much for watching. Have a good night.